Good morning and welcome to Kehillat Shari Torah's Counting the Omer, daily counting of the Omer with reviews of relevant halachas and spiritual insights. This is the counting for Sunday, April 19th, which is 10 days of the Omer. The Torah says in Vayikra and Chumash Vayikra, we'll read it in a few weeks, you should count for yourselves 7 Shabbatot. From the day after, it says in the Torah Shabbat, we know that means Yom Tov, from the day after Pesach. From the day of bringing the Omer of waving, they should be complete. If you'll take a look at a video that we posted earlier about an introduction to counting the Omer, so that we have a discussion there about the Omer, this first barley offering that was brought in the temple in Jerusalem, and why it's important to remember it today. At the conclusion of the first day of Pesach, we start counting the Omer for a sum total of 7 weeks, and the day following that is Shavuot. When is the time to count? It's at night. If you count at nighttime and you've counted every day, you're allowed to count with a blessing, with a bracha, as we'll see in the next few halachas. If you count during the day, if you didn't remember to count at night before you went to bed, and you woke up the next morning, it was light, so you can count without a bracha, and you can continue counting. Some authorities say that during the half hour before you can count the Omer, in other words, a half an hour prior to sunset, one is prohibited to sit down to have a meal. You shouldn't wash and sit down to a full meal, because then you'll get distracted, maybe you'll go to sleep, and you'll forget to count the Omer. You can eat a snack, you can have a small nosh, and if you started eating anyway, they say that when the time comes to count the Omer, you should stop and make the bracha and count the Omer. Perfectly all right to eat, as we say, to have fruit, to have a light snack and all that before counting the Omer. So as we say, today is 10 days of the Omer. 10 days are 1 week and 3 days of the Omer. The sphera that's listed in the Siddur there, as you'll see, is Tiferet Shebegevura, Tiferet of Gevura, which is compassion in discipline. So here's what Rabbi Jacobson writes. Underlying and driving discipline must not only be love, but also compassion. Love comes from recognizing one's merits and positive qualities, while discipline channels and directs those strengths to weed out the negative. Compassion is unconditional love. It is love just for the sake of love, not considering the other's position. Tiferet is a result of total selflessness in the eyes of God. You love for no reason, you love because you are a reflection of God. The question for the day is, does my discipline have this element of compassion? And the exercise for the day is to be compassionate to someone you have reproached. Please tune in tomorrow, and we'll continue with laws and customs and spiritual insight into counting the Omer.